Good evening, I'm Mark Allen.
And I'm Johnny Palmer. Today's space tragedy has left Wabash Valley residents in a state of shock as disaster struck the Space Shuttle Challenge.
In the spirit of the Northwest, serving Oregon and Southwest Washington, this is Channel 2 News at 11 with Jeff Gianola and Julie Emery, Jim Little, Lou Gellos, and the entire Channel 2 News team.
Good evening, everybody. Another potentially...
You're watching KCBS TV Channel 2 Los Angeles. Now, Bree Walker, Michael Tuck, Steve Rambo Weather, Jim Hill Sports, and Chopper 2. Channel 2 Action News, Nightcast.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks very much for joining us tonight. Here's what's happening slowly but surely.
This is no Hollywood blockbuster. This is a real-life storm, and tonight, it's knocked thousands of homes and lives off their foundations. We'll have the very latest next on Fox 2 Eyewitness News at 10.
Why did the sister of a murdered Oakland County eye doctor take a lie detector test? She'll tell you.
You've heard warnings about the dangers of not using sunscreen, but do you know how to pick the right one and how to apply it? I'm Fox 2 health reporter Kay Lowry, and I'll have that story coming up.
And having your car stolen can be expensive, especially if the police find it. The Hall of Shame is on the case this Wednesday, May 29th, 1996.
This is Fox 2 Eyewitness News at
10. They can be stronger than a hurricane. They hit with little or no warning, and they're killers. The people of one Kentucky county came face to face with a twister. It wrecked their houses, but they escaped with their lives. Good evening, I'm Micah Materian for Hugh Perkins.
And I'm Rich Fisher. Thanks for being with us tonight. National Guard troops are on duty in Kentucky.
Channel 2, WBBM Television, Chicago.
Live from Chicago's news team. The 10 o'clock news.
Good evening. An accused cop killer is behind bars tonight, charged with murder held without bond.
From Channel 3 Eyewitness News, coverage you can count on. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
While nearly all eyes in the tri-state area were on the Tennessee and Georgia governor's races.
Coverage you can count on. Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11. You're watching Cindy Sexton, Bill Markham, Chief Meteorologist Paul Barris, and Sports with Randy Smith. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11. Brought to you by Singular. What do you have to say?
Words like momentum.
You're watching the Kansas State Network. Live from Wichita. This is KSN News at 6. Quick, accurate, to the point.
The time for diplomacy has passed. I think that's pretty clear.
Live from Northern California's news leader, you're watching KCRA TV, where the news comes first and home of Live Copter 3. This is KCRA 3 reports at 6.
It's a dead heat and down to the last minute in Iowa. But in California, campaign organizers say they're just getting started. The race...
You're watching the 10 o'clock news on KRTV. North Central Montana's #1 news station, with Janae Town, weather with Fred Pfeiffer, and sports with Heath Hegum.
The 2003 Montana Special Olympics.
Live from KM3 Omaha. This is KM3 News at 5.
Burning buildings and fields on fire. It's breaking news as wildfires spread fast. Powerful winds making things even worse. And how long will these ridiculous winds last? Ryan will tell us coming up next.
You're watching KM3 News at 5 with Deborah Ward, Greg Peterson, and Chief Meteorologist Ryan McPike.
From the District, Maryland, and Virginia, this is News 4, Washington, with Glenn Rinker, Don Cereals, and Dan Daniels. Tonight, state lotteries examined.
Good evening. Jim Vance is on vacation. The Justice Department is looking closely at 13...
KDVC-TV, Channel 4, El Paso.
This is Big 4 Weekend News with John Conboy. Bill Peterson with sports. And Gail Gordon with AccuWeather.
Well, the question of the day is, where were you during the blizzard of 1980? Most El Pasoans were shocked when they awoke this morning to find the largest amount of snow on the ground.
It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Live from KVOA TV4 Tucson, this is Eyewitness News at 10.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Mark Johnson.
And I'm Savannah Guthrie. We begin with the end of the Olympics and the big party in Atlanta that celebrated it. And a little bit later, we'll solve the great Olympic mystery. Just who is going to be on the box of Wheaties?
Russ Lewis, Savannah Guthrie, Pamela Davis, Danny Harnden. Eyewitness News at 10. We'll be right back. Live from the Channel 4 studios in Dallas and Fort Worth, this is News 4 Texas Night Beat.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Dallas Police Homicide.
By our window or by your television, you're watching KBTV.
Live from the NBC4 Beaumont studios in Parkdale Mall. Coverage you can count on. This is NBC4 Beaumont Nightcast.
Good evening, I'm Alvin Sill.
And I'm Lisa Pinto. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Broadcasting from the NBC4 Beaumont studios in Parkdale Mall. Albert Zick, Lisa Pinto, Forecast Center weather with Chief Meteorologist Joe Bauer and Greg Picasso Sportscast. Coverage you can count on. You're watching NBC4 Beaumont Nightcast.
The news specialists in southern Colorado. This is Eyewitness News Tonight with Sandra Mann, Harv Holiday, and J. Ralph Tarter.
Good evening, everyone. An El Paso County District Court jury has reached a verdict in the case of Northern National Bank President Norman Postles.
You're watching WDTV News Channel 5 at 6. Live from Television Drive in Bridgeport. Your hometown news starts now.
A week-long recovery mission takes a tragic turn today as crews find the body of a missing bridge jumper in Preston County.
Morgantown police say the similarities between two church break-ins do not appear to be coincidental.
And protecting West Virginia will show you how local rescue crews are trained for a possible terrorist attack.
Our top story tonight, a nearly week-long search comes to an end today.
Sometime around noon,
You are watching WDTV News Channel 5 with Scott Snyder, Ashley Wharton, your hometown sports with Joe Mercado, and your award-winning Skywatch forecast with Brandon Butcher. Your hometown news continues.
Well, West Virginia is known all across the country.
Live from WOI-TV Des Moines, this is News 5 at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us.
A preliminary report on a plane crash.
You're watching News 5 at 10. With Scott Smith and Sonia Heitsusen.
Live from 5 on your side, this is WEWS, News Channel 5 at 11.
If you are wishing you could pinch pennies at the gas pump.
From your news and information leader, Tennessee's first and only local news in high definition. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
I think that was a risk that saved somebody else's life.
Live from downtown Greenville, this is WABG-TV News Watch 6, the Delta's news source for over 35 years.
The murder trial of 2 men accused of killing a Greenwood man began today in Panola County. And 12 Delta families will soon get new homes. Good evening, everyone. Those are two of our top stories tonight on Newswatch 6. I'm Jay Nix. Thanks for joining us tonight. 2 men accused of killing a Greenwood UPS driver last summer went on trial today in Batesville.
This is Channel 6 for the Heartland, WOWT Omaha. Now, this is the Channel 6 News, live at 5.
Police tape marks the spot of a senseless act of violence. One Heartland teenager is dead, another is in jail, accused of murder.
You're watching the Heartland's news source with Gary Kerr, Pat Prasad, weather with Chief Meteorologist Jim Flowers, and good news with Courtney Garish. This is the Channel 6 News, live at 5.
This is the News on 6 at 6.
More bombshells for ORU as the university and Richard Roberts are hit with 3 more lawsuits.
2 of Tulsa's finest are remembered for their service to the city.
And a new group joins in the search for the body of a missing teenager. Good to have you here at 6 o'clock. I'm Scott Thompson.
And I'm Terry Hood. First on 6 tonight, 3 new lawsuits against Oral Roberts University.
Channel 6 News is everywhere. Live, the most watched news station in the capital region. This is Channel 6 News at 6.
Good evening. A 19-year-old football player is killed after a 2-car accident on Route 4 in North Greenbush.
Now, live, with the most powerful name in local news. This is Fox 6 News at 9.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Karen Church. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. First on Fox, an elaborate state funeral tonight for the nation's 38th president, Gerald R. Ford.
WABC TV, New York.
This is Eyewitness News, Wednesday, March 8th, 1978.
Good evening, I'm Roger Grimsby. Here now the news. Another piece of New York fell by the curbside today for who knows how long.
Live from the award-winning Miami Valley News Leader, Up to the Minute News with Jim Baldridge and Deborah Countess, AccuWeather with Dave Freeman, and Sports with Mike Hartsock. Now, News Center 7 at 6.
Good evening.
One day after the election, and Ohio's governor-elect is wasting no time preparing to take over at the State House.
The news you need in 30 minutes. This is Channel 7 News at 6 with Carrie Blake, John Potter, Guaranteed Weather with Rob Nucatola, and Sports with Rich Crampannis.
Good evening. Carrie Blake has the night off. I'm John Potter. A Brewer couple is charged.
Biggest shows.
Live from WHDH-TV Boston. This is 7 News at 6 on the news station.
Strong storm struck the Bay State. Heavy rains causing some flooding in some areas. Parts of Massachusetts remain under a thunderstorm watch until 7 p.m. tonight. Good evening, everyone. Harvey Leonard's been tracking these storms.
This is 7 News with Kim Kerrigan, Randy Price, Harvey Leonard with weather, and Gene Levanti with sports on the news station.
A well-known Kennedy will speak at next month's Democratic National Convention.
Time is running very short for Saddam Hussein. That from the Bush administration today.
Live from KOAM TV. Lisa Oligas, Chad Andrews with Skywatch 7 Weather, and Richard Smith with Sports.
Good evening, I'm Mark Wolf.
And I'm Jackie Walker with the 11 o'clock update from News 8.
Now, live from KOBR-TV Roswell, Channel 8 Eyewitness News continues, covering all of southeastern New Mexico.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sharon Melton.
Live, this is News Channel 8 at 6 with Ann Nyberg, Brian Burnell, Noah Finn Sports, and Jeff Fox with weather.
It's a real sad thing.
This is News 8 Now in high definition.
Good evening, I'm John McKay.
And I'm Gloria Campos. You're watching the News 8 update in HD.
Live in HD with John Snell, Nancy Parker, and Lee Zurich. Chief Meteorologist Bob Brett. And sports with John Henry Smith. This is WVUE-TV New Orleans, Fox 8 News at 9.
Good evening. Police tonight are searching for whoever's responsible for a drive-by shooting.
This is Newsnight in color, the story of July 31st, 1968, with Warren Aldney.
Good evening. President Johnson has asked the steel industry to hold the price line.
Thanks, Kansas City, for making us #1. This is KMBC 9 News at 10 with Lori Everett and Larry Moore, meteorologist Brian Busby, and sports with Len Dawson.
Good evening, everyone. Larry and Lori are off. It looks like...
Honored as Missouri's best newscast, this is KMBC 9 News at 10 with Larry Moore, Lori Everett, Brian Busby, and Len Dawson.
WAFB News is the newscast watched in more Baton Rouge area homes than any other.
Which one of the 2 knives this girl has is the one she carried with her to school? She has been expelled for 1 full year. Good evening, I'm Donna Britt.
And I'm George Sells. The girl is an honor student at Port Allen Middle School.
From KTSM El Paso, the heart of West Texas, southern New Mexico, and northern Mexico, this is 9 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. Tempers are flaring in far east El Paso tonight.
Now, from WFTV, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 11. Coverage you can count on.
She was my baby child. I have 2 other children. They're all grown. But she was my baby.
His underage daughter was killed after crashing into this tree. And hours before, her father says, this Lake County bar served her too much to drink. Now he's going after the bar.
Tonight, the girl's family has filed a lawsuit in hopes of shutting down bars similar to the one that served her.
CBS 10, KDIM-TV, Roswell, New Mexico. Live from Roswell, you're watching 10 News.
The U.S. luge team is ready to compete in the Winter Olympics. CBS Southwest reporter Kelly Wallace has a preview of the Americans' chance.
You're watching News 10 with Alicia Malaby and Dana Howard. This is News 10 at 6.
Good evening. It is political theater seldom witnessed so early in the presidential race.
Live from WTEN. This is News 10 at 11 on the news station.
I think increasingly Albany is looked upon as the corruption capital of America.
Live from Columbia, the station you count on for local news. This is WIS News 10 Nightcast.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Nightcast. I'm Craig Melvin.
Hi, I'm Dondi Mercer.
You're watching WIS News 10 Nightcast with Dondi Mercer, Craig Melvin, Storm Team meteorologist Ben Tanner, and Rick Henry's Sports. Count on WIS News 10.
From the heart of Acadiana, this is Eyewitness News at 10.
The search is continuing late into the night this evening as the
TV 10 Eyewitness News with Chuck Hubner and Darla Montgomery. Live Upper 10 weather with Chief Meteorologist Ryan Burchett. And sports with George Faust. You're watching TV 10, Acadiana's local news leader.
HOU-TV, Houston. And now, from 11 News in Houston, Sylvan Rodriguez, Susan Banks, Dr. Neil Frank with weather, and Gib Nielsen on sports. This is KHOU 11 News.
Good evening. Houston homicide investigators are at this hour checking on what they believe could be.
You're watching the News Channel, WTVD, News Channel 11. Now, the news continues with Monica Schumann, John Clark, meteorologist Chris Homan with the AccuWeather forecast, and Jennifer Silverman's HealthCast 11. This is News Channel 11 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. A division of motor vehicles on its
KARE 11 News with Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Jeff Passold, Sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
I want to point out that they have...
Dozens of inmates finally surrender after an 11-day uprising at an Ohio prison. Well, that's...
The Southland's #1 choice for news. Fox 11 News at 10.
The day of reckoning was delayed in coming, and they should just take it.
A jury hands down a record-shattering verdict against Big Tobacco, awarding $145 billion in damages. Good evening, I'm Christine Divide.
And I'm John Beard. It is the biggest jury damage award ever, the class action lawsuit that took 2 years in the courtroom.
Live from the Valley's choice for local news, this is KVLY News 11 at 6.
Good evening. Federal aviation investigators say they've never seen anything like this.
You are watching the Valley's choice for local news, KVLY News 11, with Charlie Johnson, Robin Hubner, meteorologist Tom Szymanski, and Dan Hammer, Sports.
The Jackson City Council is in turmoil tonight thanks to a shocking plea by President Louis Armstrong. Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Jefferson.
And I'm Melanie Christopher. Plus, expanded team coverage of Armstrong's plea as his council colleagues speak out.
And the makers of this tire say you'll never have to fix another flat. We'll put it to a News Channel 12 consumer test.
You're watching News Channel 12 at 10.
Federal agencies have been out.
You're watching News Channel 12 at 10 with Melanie Christopher, Steve Jefferson, Tony Mastro with your Storm Team 12 forecast, and Leo and Sports. News Channel 12 is coverage you can count on.
Many people along the Mississippi...
This is KVNT 12 News at 5. More local news for Southeast Texas.
Good afternoon, I'm Tracy Kennick. Thank you for joining us today. Residents of Vidor say their arms are open.
This is Action 12 News with Jimmy Sidelecki, Mallory Maddox, meteorologist Ray Foreman, and sports with Bruce Vonderhaar. This is your Action 12 News at 6.
Next.
You're watching News 12 at 6, the one to watch for local news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. For 40 years, Americans have observed daylight saving time.
You're watching Action News, your news leader with Candace Chapman, Paul Griffey on sports, and meteorologist Dr. Bill Rogers with Storm Tracker weather on WBNG TV.
ITV Entertainment's great on ITV, Channel 13, Cable 8.
The Premier sets November 2nd as the election date. Among the issues, the Trust Fund. The first Canadian ever reaches the summit of Mount Everest. The Swedes may have another Soviet sub trapped in the waters near Stockholm. Lance Brown reports on baseball playoffs, and Bill predicts cloudy weather.
ITV News. 10 o'clock edition with Barbara Kelly and Doug Main.
Good evening. What will be the most expensive election campaign?
Alabama's 13, WPTN. Pam Huff, Gene Lively, Ken Lass on sports, and meteorologist Jerry Tracy's weather. Now, Alabama's 13 First News.
This is Fox 13 News at 9.
New information tonight about the deadly attack on a Utah family outside a San Diego bar. A man who watched his brother stabbed to death talks for the first time since the tragedy. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Evans.
And I'm Hope Woodside. We'll have more on that story in just a moment.
You're watching Fox 13 News at 9 with Bob Evans, Hope Woodside, Jody Salen, and Mike Runge.
They're not letting wheelchairs...
CSI detectives may finally answer key questions about Billy the Kid, but why is one community opposed? Albuquerque police say there's something suspicious about the sudden death of a 2-year-old boy. And witnesses tell the jury chilling details of a murder spree that left 2 people dead. That is tonight's big local story.
Covering Albuquerque and all of New Mexico. You're watching KRQE News 13 at 5:30.
Good evening. Prosecutors say Merle Ramon knew exactly what he was doing when he and 2 18-year-olds...
This is ABC 13 News with Noreen Turin, Len Stevens, Tab O'Neill, and Dennis Carter. Award-winning coverage in the heart of Virginia.
A local girl played a role in the murders of her stepfather and stepbrother. Now the 17-year-old knows how long it'll put her behind bars.
Post offices were swamped today with last-minute gift senders. Can you still get your gifts through by Christmas?
You're watching Fox 14, the Force State's own Fox.
First on Fox 14 News at 9, a fatal 4-state car wreck. Plus, an American hostage is killed. And a skydive for the ages. Fox 14 News at 9 starts now. First on Fox, a 2-car wreck killed 1 person and sent several others to the hospital.
KARD Fox 14.
Good evening, I'm Teresa LaBarbera. Straight ahead on Fox 14 News at 9.
Arkansas state officials say a special session could soon be called to address school funding issues. But does that mean further consolidation? I'm J.R. Stone. The story is just ahead.
January is National Mentor Month. I'm Laura Monserrati. Coming up, I'll show you how some ArkLaMis students' lives have been changed forever.
Good evening, I'm Fox 14 Chief Meteorologist Tom Pearson. It looks like a cooler day in store for us tomorrow, but hey, warmer temperatures are right around the corner. We'll have a forecast for you just ahead.
Bringing you the right news at the right time. This is KARD Fox 14 News at 9 with Teresa LaBarbera, meteorologist Tom Pearson, and sports director Chris Bykowski. And now, Fox 14 News at 9.
Thank you for joining us. There's no more open-air burning in Ouachita Parish. And as our top story, tonight Ouachita Parish police jurors approved a parish-wide burn ban this afternoon.
Paige Cook, Kelly James, and Dan Scoff. This is Fox 14 News at 9.
Crime doesn't pay. Sometimes honesty and a nice gesture don't either.
Watch On Trial tonight at 7:30 on WLYH-TV. Live from WLYH-TV, this is Action News 15, your best source for news, sports, and weather in the Pennsylvania heartland. Now for Action News, here's Cliff Eschbach.
Good evening. It's Friday, November 4th. In the news, the Berks County United...
From throughout the region, this is Fox News at 9.
Notorious child killer Joel Steinberg is now out of prison. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fox News at 9.
News Center 15 brings you more local news, more follow-ups on the stories that matter to you, and more exclusive stories that make a difference in all our lives. Every day, News Center 15's team of experienced reporters are out in your homes and communities working to make a difference for you, working to bring home the stories that matter to you, and working to make the Delta a better place for all of us. See the difference that News Center 15 makes.
Closed captioning of Eyewitness News 16 is brought to you by Union Planters Bank.
Tonight on Eyewitness News 16, Jackson is visited once again by Russian natives. Does a suspended Jackson police officer know more about a murder case than he's letting on? And the day before the big debate, two presidential hopefuls are gearing up for what promises to be a grilling debate. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jay Nix. Thanks for joining us tonight here on Eyewitness News 16. Bob Dole and Bill.
You're watching Eyewitness News 16 on 16 APT Jackson.
Still to come on Eyewitness News 16, we'll show you.
You're watching NBC 16, Great Falls. It's time for Montana's own Big Sky News at 10 o'clock.
Good evening, I'm Greg Wilson.
And I'm Jamie Dismer. Welcome to Big Sky News at 10.
Live from the Charlottesville Newsplex, this is ABC 16 News Newscast.
A man accused of peeping on neighbors is back on the streets. The question some are asking tonight, is this a safety concern? Good evening, I'm Jeremy Settle.
And I'm Lauren Knight. Here's the very latest at 11. An alleged peeping Tom is out on the street.
This is WTCG Update with Tina Selden.
Good morning. I hope you're having a good day today. Topping the news, the Israeli cabinet in a vote of 15-2.
You're watching NBC 17. This is NBC 17, the one to watch. Now, NBC 17 News at 11.
I'm Melanie Alnwick, live in Wilson with a new twist in a local teen's
Class reunion. Those stories plus the man at the center of a sports controversy speaks out at our studios tonight. WV 17 News at 10 starts right now.
This is WV 17 News at 10.
European tourists sleep atop a dead man in Atlantic City. Good evening. I'm Steve Highsmith. In Atlantic City, a horrible discovery.
You're watching WETM TV, Elmira Corning. From the Twin Tiers' #1 news source, coverage you can count on continues. This is 18 News at 11.
A grenade attack at Camp Pennsylvania in northern Kuwait leaves 13 soldiers wounded tonight, 6 seriously, but military officials fear it may have been an inside job. Good evening and welcome to WETM 18 News at 11. I'm Regina Waldrop.
You're watching WQOW 18 Eau Claire. Now, from your hometown team, this is the News 18 10 p.m. report.
A timeline has come and gone for the Eau Claire County jail expansion. After the break, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
You're watching Jerry Gallagher and Jamie Page. From your hometown team, this is the News 18 10 p.m. report.
You're watching CW18. If you're looking for laughs, we get the comedy rolling with Raymond at 10:30. But first, it's West 2 News on CW18. Up next.
Witness to murder. A local toddler's the only other person home when the woman babysitting him winds up dead. The boy's horrified, and his mom is talking to West 2. Mean girls. A local man tells West 2 some teenage girls tricked him into thinking their car broke down, then robbed him blind. And some dive-bombing birds sending local students ducking for cover. West 2 News 10 at 10 starts right now.
10 minutes of nonstop news starts with a deadly attack.
A woman is killed in her home. A 19-month-old child may have seen the...
Now on 18 Eyewitness News.
Farmington's Operation Main Street still needs some businesses to sign up before it's a go. Also, a Republican U.S. Senate candidate is focusing on his potential November opponent. Plus, construction on Fredericktown's new middle school is in its final phase. All of these stories, and are we going to see stormy weather through the weekend?
Coverage you can count on. This is 18 Eyewitness News.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fred Dawkins, and here are the top stories we're working on
right now.
From Charlottesville, this is WCAV CBS 19 News at 6, where Charlottesville news comes first.
Each and every day, more and more people are becoming victims of identity theft, and one woman right here in Central Virginia is now adding to that total. Good evening to you, and thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Corey Raftery.
And I'm Stephanie Hawkridge. More on that story in just a minute.
The King of Queens is next, right after 10 News at 10, only on East Tennessee CW. From East Tennessee CW, this is 10 News at 10.
After 14 years of litigation, 32 appeals, 54 days in trial.
Now, live from the studios of CXA 21, a station that's as independent as Texas. This is CXA 21 News, first in prime.
Good evening, I'm Kenneth Taylor.
And I'm Tracy Cornett. Thanks so much for inviting us into your homes tonight.
Tonight on the WB Las Vegas News at 10.
Immunization rates are on the rise, but so are the number of vaccines. What's required for kids in Clark County? That story straight ahead.
For Gladstone, they say they came to the U.S. for freedom and opportunity, but what kind of opportunity? And imagine calling 911 and hearing this.
Good evening and thanks for choosing the WB Las Vegas News at 10. I'm Rachel Smith.
Right now.
You're watching 22 Daily News, winner of 8 Associated Press Awards presented by the Mississippi Associated Press. Live from Hattiesburg, covering the Pine Belt. This is 22 Daily News at 10. It's about time.
No warning lights or barricades. A deadly railroad crossing gets some badly needed attention. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mia Butler.
And I'm Blaine Stewart. First at 10, some people...
You're watching 22 Daily News at 10 with Blaine Stewart, Mia Butler, Rex Thompson in the Weather Lab, and Tom Colt, Sports. This is 22 Daily News at 10.
A big announcement from the Federal Reserve today.
WIFR TV, Freeport, Rockford.
Good evening, I'm Eric Green and this is Action News at 6. The number of salmonella cases tonight continues to rise. Health officials say 10,000 people...
ABC 23 News, we're here for you.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Helene Walagora. A drug kingpin who made millions in Center and Blair counties is sentenced.
Your prime time Fox 24 News at 10 starts now.
Fast-moving storms dumped buckets of rain on the low country this evening. This video is from downtown Charleston just a couple of hours ago. There were a number of reports of cars.
Live. This is ABC 25 News at 6.
You send your children
Want to know? Stay with us.
Live from ABC 25. Bruce Hamilton, Karen Adams, First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Brian Albrecht, and Sports Blitz with Barry LeBron. You're watching ABC 25 News at 6.
Desde nuestros estudios en Tampa y Orlando, ahora comienza Noticias Univisión Florida Central.
¿Qué tal? Buenas noches y bienvenidos sean todos. Yo soy Paul Gamache.
Y les saluda Sharon Miranda. Iniciamos con la...
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm John Rogers. We'll have those stories in a moment. But right now, meteorologist Vanessa Murdoch has a check of tomorrow's Fastcast. A little bit dreary out there.
Coming up next on Fox 28 News at 10. The right news at the right time.
City Market may soon be without one of its major attractions.
This is as real as it gets. I'm Maureen Francisco. We'll take you to a simulated plane crash at Hilton Head Island Airport.
It could soon cost to walk on the Tybee Pier if one county commissioner has his way. Attention Kmart shoppers, the company has announced store closings in the Coastal Empire and Low Country. Local Boy Scouts say they can guarantee you a good spot along the St. Patrick's Day parade route. And downtown fountains are spouting green for the official kickoff of the Irish holiday.
Fox 28 News at 10 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Shawnette Wilson. This is Fox 28 News at 10. Betsy Nolan has the night off.
You're watching the area's #1 primetime newscast with anchor Shawnette Wilson. and Betsy Nolan. Weather with AMS certified meteorologist Jeff Kirk. And sports with Brady Posse. This is Fox 28 News at 10.
From the Twin Cities, this is Fox 29 News at 9.
3 days in a row of heavy rain across the metro area is filling rivers, streams, and basements. Coming up.
You're watching the Twin Cities' best choice for primetime news with Chris Kanangla, Jordana Green, Chief Meteorologist Carl Spring, and sports with John Henk. This is Fox 29 News at 9.
Some grade school students in Wabasha.
Okay. You're watching the News at 9 on KVHB Fox 29, locally owned and operated. With Agnes Derwin, weather with Lindsay Stores, and Matthew Watney on sports.
For the fourth week in a row.
Tonight, off the bench, a special prosecutor is investigating a judge's behavior at a downtown hotel.
I got 3 pairs of pants on.
Feeling the chill, how the city's cold snap is affecting the homeless.
I thought for sure that the prices would be jacked up.
And are tourists getting ripped off in Turin?
CTV News at 11:30. Your home, your news. Here is Gina Yu.
Good evening. Mi Zhang is off tonight. A jury is delivering its recommendation.
Live from Louisiana State Capitol, this is NBC 33 News Today.
Good morning to you all, and thanks for tuning in to 33 Today this Wednesday, January 20th. Here's a look at the stories making local headlines this morning.
Faced with falling bombs, Saddam shelves the bombast and goes with the flow. That UN resolution is unconditionally acceptable. All the local politicos considering a run for Washington, but none ready to do any hat tossing, while the retiring congressman welcomes all comers.
And call them the Gap Kids, as in gay and proud, and wanting official status in the LISD. First on Fox 34 News at 9, making a school board pitch, but is the deck already stacked?
It's 9 o'clock, and this is Fox 34 News at 9.
A school district that tenaciously promotes abstinence-only sex ed suddenly finds itself.
This is 35 WSEE Newswatch 35 Night Beat.
A national chain serves up its last orders of burgers and fries and shuts its doors. That's coming up on Fox 39 News at 9.
Now, from Rockford, WQRF Fox 39 News at 9 Weekend Edition.
Some McChesney Park homeowners are dealing with a foul problem, and it's not flooding. I'm Ariel Gurian, and that's first tonight. While many McChesney Park residents are facing flooding.
WTWC-TV, NBC News 40. This is your news.
Milosevic knows the phone number of NATO, and he knows where to call when he wants the strikes to stop.
This is Sandy Gilmore.
In the world tonight, hunting a killer, police release a note from the past. The bizarre disposal of a huge GST ripoff. And Ontario Somalis denounce welfare abusers and critics at Queen's Park.
The World Tonight with Peter Kent and Jane Gilbert.
Good evening. Ontario Provincial Police are asking the public to help them solve a 3-year-old murder case.
This is CBS. KI 42, your eye on Austin. And you're watching KI Witness News at 6 with Neil Speltz, Christy Fletcher, meteorologist Cliff Morrison, and Andy Lascano Sports.
Pulte
ਤੇ ਚੜੇ ਵਿਅਕਤੀਆਂ ਕਾਰਨ ਆਵਾਜਾਈ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਾਰੀ ਵਿਘਨ। BC ਦੇ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਇਸ਼ਤਿਹਾਰ ਤਿੱਖੇ ਵਿਵਾਦ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ। 에ਅਰ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਕੇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਫਾਈ ਪੱਖ ਦੇ ਵਕੀਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਮੁੱਖ ਗਵਾਹ ਦੇ ਬਿਆਨ ਤੇ ਸਵਾਲ।
ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਨੁਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸੰਧੂ ਪਾਮਰਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੁਲੇਟਿਨ।
Live from the Fox 43 studios, this is Fox 43 News at 10. Your late news an hour earlier.
For somebody to do that kid.
You're watching Fox 43 News at 9.
Dance canceled. Why Montpelier High School is keeping students from breaking it down this homecoming. The season opener, whether the Catamounts tear into the Pioneers. And under arrest, this man police called dangerous tracked down where he was hiding.
Now, Fox 44 local news and your 10-minute advantage. All you need without the wait.
Good evening, I'm Greg Navarro. Lauren Maloney is off tonight. After 3 days of being on the run, New York State police say they finally caught him.
It's first, it's fast, it's Fox News at 9. And now, here's Crystal Kabza.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. Much of the area saw rain today. Chief Meteorologist Scott.
Eyewitness News at 9 is next. Tonight, sheriff's deputies chase a bank robbery suspect, and it all ends with the suspect's death.
First, it was the cheating allegations, then an NCAA investigation, then the Clem Haskins buyout. Now, the U wants its money back.
An alarming study puts Minnesota near the top when it comes to children staying home alone.
Plus, it's been 2 months since floodwater damaged parts of Egan. After all the cleanup and frustrations, some of the problems just go away.
You are watching KSTC TV, Channel 45.
This is your new news at 9.
Live from KSTC TV, this is Channel 45 Eyewitness News at 9.
A suspected bank robber in a pickup truck took off with Dakota County Sheriff deputies chasing him. And
Live from WVFF TV in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 10.
I thought my life was about to end.
A runaway bus crashes through a northeast Baltimore neighborhood.
Smashing into cars as the bus driver tries to chase it down. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tony Harris.
And I'm Deborah Wiener. It happened around 5:30 this evening.
Straight ahead tonight on Fox News. Madison's downtown arts district takes center stage tonight as the public gets its say on the $100 million project. New details tonight about the disappearance of a Poynette woman as her estranged husband makes his first appearance in court. And Dane County residents fight crime by celebrating National Night Out. Fox 47 News at 9 starts now. The public gets its say on plans.
Londra caccia i terroristi, ucciso un sospetto. Nuova arma nella lotta contro il cancro. La Juventus cancella l'esibizione a Toronto.
Buonasera dalla nostra redazione. È stata una...
It's 9 o'clock. Your Fox 47 News at 9 starts now.
Hi there. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jamie Yukis in for Jonathan Walsh. Randy has your Sunday forecast. Randy, it's been beautiful. Is this going to continue?
It has been beautiful, and yes, it's going to continue. Temperatures tonight.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Nightly News Watch. I'm Calvin Means.
And I'm Deborah Singer filling in for Sherry Wine. Well, topping our news this evening, we have new information.
Live from the banks of the Black Warrior River, straight from the heart of West Alabama, this is Tuscaloosa's News Channel 49 at 10.
It's the final day of Tuscaloosa's biggest party of the year. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Zanetta Lee.
And I'm Jim and
We know you have a choice. Thanks for watching WNDS and tell a friend.
New Hampshire has a new governor, Democrat John Lynch, sworn in this afternoon. From behind prison walls, Pamela Smart is now asking for a pardon. And winter is doling out just about everything it has to offer in New England today. But will there be any sign of letting up? These stories plus all your day's news now.
Live from WNDS TV, this is News Now at 7.
The winter storm has been packing a 1-2 punch here in New England. Good evening, I'm Gail Scott Key.
And I'm Eric Shiner. The white stuff continues to...
You're watching A Channel, connected to the underdog. She wants her life back, and she wants justice. Just Cause, Thursday at 10 on A Channel, connected to you.
Now on A Channel News.
Heroes Homecoming.
Classic merchandise arrives. Local stores unpack hockey history.
Plus, Outside Job. Ice Makers update.
Live from our studios in downtown Edmonton, this is News at 6 with Paul Menier and Jennifer Martin.
Good evening. Our heroes in green and gold are back in the City of Champions tonight.
Hey, Hillary here. The fun shows on KFWD, Just Fun TV.
You're watching VI News now with more on tonight's top.
From the area's #1 source for local news and information, this is Fox 56 News at 10.
Just days after plans were announced to close this nursing home, a big change.
From the Tappan Zee to Albany, we've got the Hudson Valley covered. This is TZA News.
Good evening, I'm Greg Floyd. There's been more than the usual number of traffic fatalities around the region over the past few days.